I attracted only nerds. I would not go to the hostel mess. I don't know why. If I could just get someone to tell me, I would have wanted nothing more. I did make mistakes.
Hey Janet, welcome back. So we already did one video on how Janet made it to IIM Bangalore. This video is more of a fun and informative conversation on how were his 2 years at IIM Bangalore. What did he do? What are mistakes that he made, perhaps? What are interesting things that he did? And how all of that culminated into him getting an all-rounder gold medal for the class of 2020, but also an institute rank 3 at IIM Bangalore, which is a once in a lifetime kind of achievement. For those who've not seen the previous video, a little more about Jinit other than what I just mentioned. Jinit is a chartered accountant. He is a ranker at 10th, 12th, and graduation board exams. He's been a ranker throughout CA. He has a keen interest in Sanskrit, and he gets it from his mom, who happens to teach Sanskrit. And this time, when the video is being recorded during quarantine due to COVID-19, he is also helping his mom teach Sanskrit. By the side, he also dabbles in coding a little bit with C and C++, and he loves public speaking. And I'm just talking about just one person. So, Jinit, welcome back to the video.
Thank you for once again introducing me in a new manner. I mean, every day, every time when I talk to Mudit, I see a different reflection summary about myself. So it makes me happy. Thank you, Mudit. Thank you for this opportunity.
Sure thing, Janet. One keeps learning. And the number one most important thing about your IIM experience, then a lot of commerce students who are looking to get into IIMs come to me. See, engineering students they have tasted the dust. They have been away from family. They have been staying at hostels from the time they're in graduation. So they are more prepared for the hostel life. But how did Plump, Mother's Boy, Janet, how did you survive an IIM's hostel life? And if you can share some interesting incidents, etc., and what really goes on in an IIM Bangalore hostel?
So that's a very interesting question, Mudit, and it has been nothing less than a roller coaster ride for me. So before going to IIM Bangalore, always felt, and people always told me, that the only thing which you would grapple with or battle with would be homesickness, and other things would be just all fine. You will get accommodated too. But it was different in my case. Many people did really feel homesick who had not been away from their homes, maybe people from commerce background, people who have stayed at home. But more than homesickness, what I felt as a person, as a chartered accountant, as a commerce graduate, is a whole new type of an experience on a residential type of a college, in terms of the opportunities which people get, to network, the challenges which you have when you stay away from home, and how should I tackle those challenges. So if I could just take a minute out and talk that, how hostel life was challenging, interesting for me, is that you are in a completely different set of environment. And I was from Ahmedabad, and I don't remember there was one person, more than one person out of the 400 batch of 1820 was from Ahmedabad. And even though Ahmedabad is a big city with a population close to a crore, and hence it was not possible. I did not recognize that person too, who was, there from Ahmedabad. I got to know him when I was into Ahmedabad. So you are now surrounded 24/7 by a group of people who have either lived in hostels, or you have different types of cultural backgrounds, are from different cities, states, different food habits, different recreational habits. And you need to find a place amongst these people and make that place cozy. So IIM Bangalore promotes a lot of hostel activities. We had hostel night outs, we did hostel bonfires, and we did inter-hostel sports meet and all these things. And as a consequence, there happens a team building. And the only thing, the only difference between a hostel and a home is that sometimes your parents, when you talk to your parents about current problems, they may feel a little bit uninterested, or you may feel that okay, these are the old problems, we faced it in our lives, you have to face it yourselves. But you get over comfy with the guys, your wingmates and everything, because over a glass of a beer or over a glass of a coke, you just all of you are grappling with the same problems, talking about it and being
How was like the first week at the hostel?
Yeah, so that's once again a very pointed question. So the first week at the hostel, first 2 days were with my parents. So parents are allowed to stay for 2 days. So it was like, okay, fine. I was spending time with the parents. I was even afraid to go to the hostel mess. I still remember my first day, and my parents were happily eating out in the mess, and I was standing outside. I would not go to the hostel mess. I don't know why. So these were the first 2 days, but in the third day when my parents left, and I found myself among a whole new set of people whom I have not known from different, as I told, from different colleges, from different cultural backgrounds, and hence that icebreaker experience was very important. And on the third and the fourth day, we were assigned hostel activities by the college, that we have to team up in the hostel basements. So I was in the O block hostel, and the entire O block hostel, both boys and girls come together in the basement. They come up with a group activity to be shown to other hostel mates. So we came up with a group dance and a group skit type of things. That was the first opportunity which I got to bond with my wingmates. Wingmates are those next door neighbors, you can say. And that's how I came to recognize them. In between those activities, we talked about our backgrounds, how has life been to us, why I am Bangalore, what are the future plans, and etc. And this type of the bonding over the first week, then we went out together for a lunch. All 4 or 5 of us who were next door neighbors, if you could say. This is how my first week, and after first week I was as comfy with them. I'm not indulging in a hyperbole, but I was as comfy with them as I was staying with them for last 24 years of my life.
Really?
So that happened. That miracle happens. You come out of the cocoon, and you just gel with those people, and they were more understanding than me, because all of them have had a hostel life for 4 years in their engineering. So they really knew how to treat me as a person who has come to hostel, who may be feeling homesick, and they were giving me all this gyan that you will feel homesick like this and that.
The amount I know you, I may not know a lot of you, but I understand that you're a nerd in a positive way. You don't drink, you don't like partying. You are more of a person who likes to be confined within himself, likes his personal space, focus on one thing. What the kind of friends that you got? Were they nerds like you, or was it a mixed bag?
So there is a universal principle of like attracts like. So the point is that in the first week, I would be really very frank and honest to you that I attracted only nerds, and I feel that was very important for me at that point of time to just get a little bit into my comfort zone when I was thrown out of the comfort zone long back when I joined IIM Bangalore. If I come to this question very seriously, and this is a very important question for all those who are listening out, that you may be a nerd, you may be an extrovert, but to be successful anywhere, not only in an IIM Bangalore, not only in a job, you need to be ambivert. Like introverts and extroverts don't sustain. I think being ambivert is something which is very important. And I was so lucky that I had a next door neighbor who was as nerd as me, and the other next door neighbor on the other side was so extrovert, partying all the time. So maybe I got best of both the worlds around me, and that helped me. He actually forced me or kicked me out to join parties and just be there. I don't drink, I don't smoke. So that's my preferences, and everything is respected in IIMB, in this type of a culture.
The parties at IIMB are wild. From other students, I've heard experiences around barrels of alcohol and everything else.
No, but barrels is an understatement, I think.
So, Jinit, how did you manage to be a teetotaler? And What was the seduction like?
As I told already, that it is all about your preferences and all about finding such type of people who respect your preferences. I will not show off by saying that it was very easy for me to, merge into such a culture and remain ambivert and everything. So I still remember the first L Square party. We call it the famous L Square parties. I was so afraid. I just thought that I should go to my room and sleep. But then the Janet in me told that, this does not make sense. You are here to immerse in this culture, and if you just don't know what an L Square party sounds like, it's not useful. So I was like, trying to steal myself from people's eyes, going around trying to understand that how does a party look like, how does a block party look like, how does a common party look like.
So I think people would be curious to understand, what did you say it's called? L2 party?
L Square party. So
L
there's a common congregation point in IIM Bangalore which is called L Square. And most of the famous cultural events and business events do happen here. Outdoor games happen here. There are legally only 2 L Square parties allowed in an year, but people find ways around things. Easy lot of people, and they sing. So there is a podium made for people to sing if they want to sing. And things start with singing ghazals, end up singing Hollywood songs and albums, and it's all about holding a beer, dancing, or just going around. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So it's quite fun and experience. And parties continue till dawn, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. So it's a crazy stuff. One of our professors had clearly told that people at IIM Bangalore, students at IIM Bangalore, they really work hard, but they party even harder.
Before I move on to more boring stuff, is there any interesting hostel incident that you recall that you would like to share?
It's not really a hostel incident, but it's a general incident which happens. So you are really afraid of your birthday coming, because the bashing which you get on a birthday, on all the experiments which happen with you, with dios on one hand and with flames being played with in the dios weather, and with chappals, and the treatment which you get is really extraordinary. So every graduate or a postgraduate has to experience such type of a birthday bash. So that is always a memorable incident. IIM Bangalore organized a lot of such activities, so hostel bonfires being one, in order to give an opportunity to people to know each other. So I still remember that in the first week we were taken to an outside camp, which was known as Breakthrough, if I am not wrong, in Bangalore. Maybe rope climbing, all the adventure stuff, which you do in teams. Such things are planned in the first 15 days of a person joining IMB to ensure that you network really well, people whom you want to gel with in future.
That's a beautiful culture, Janet. Another thing that I wanted to ask you is, see, for example, you have been a public speaker yourself. You got a rank in most of the things that you've done in the past, and so you were there in the limelight. Now suddenly you go inside this campus wherein you're surrounded by all these brilliant people, and you have that feeling perhaps that you're lost in the crowd, that you're one of many, and you need to establish your individual identity. People need to know who you are as a person. How do you keep that balance between blending in the crowd and also making your own individual identity known?
So that's a great question, Mudit, and it requires a lot of, you can say, experience, if I'm not wrong. I did make mistakes in the first few months of my start at IMB, when I try to just shift to a different personality. Being an individual with great achievements is not helping me get through these 2 years at IMB. I need to be one among the crowd. If I just go in retrospect and talk to you about what I did after a month in order to balance out both, is to first try to organize the entire relationships which you make in IMB into various circles. And this circle of relationship theory is something which we have already known. That there's a very private space, and there's then a private space, and after that there's a social space. So I try to organize my life around that when I talk to very close 4 friends of my own, I am actually what I am. But when I talk to people generally in my class, I still remain what I am, but I also try to be a face among what they are, or try to be one among what they are. And this type of a balance a person could just get either by reading books on neurology like you do, or maybe on having an on-site experience and learning by himself, evolution as we say.
That's interesting. So what I get from this conversation is that one cannot try to be overly within their own shell, and nor should they lose their complete individual identity and try to blend in the crowd, but rather try to keep a balance of both.
Absolutely. That's right. Well summarized.
Jinit, as a chartered accountant, you go inside there, and there are people now who are from all different playing fields. So as my job as a coach, I work with CAs who are smart, but I have worked with some IITians and some of these other people who are really, really smart. And and it's also the way of education. For example, in CA there is a lot of focus on knowledge in certain subjects, but at the kind of education where one requires to get into an IIT and then graduate from an IIT to then get into an IIM is a lot of thinking focused education, which keeps developing and sharpening their aptitude. So when everybody is at ground zero in an IIM classroom, then I have seen that IITians are really able to make the cut above everyone else. But that is my perception. What, as a chartered accountant, Jinit, do you feel about this, and how did you prepare for this?
So Mudit, you are very right, and I'll say that it is your perception. It is also very close to reality. When you talk about my experience at IIM Bangalore, it will be different for different people, but I found that this is a reality, that as chartered accountants we may be knowing a lot of stuff, but when it comes to being street smart, when it comes to on the feet thinking, I don't agree to those people who say that it's a God's gift. It is something which needs to be cultivated. It is cultivated by this journey which a person goes through when he gives JEE, and after that takes up an IIT, does various extracurriculars at an IIT, has a work experience, and then comes to an IIM. So that aptitude has already developed in that type of a person, and it is not generally seen in a lot of chartered accountants. I am not demeaning chartered accountants in any sense. Being a chartered accountant, I got a lot of leverage when it comes to subjects like finance or economics, accounting. All these things are very important. When I realized this need gap during my first 2-3 months, fine, I know many things, but those things are not able to help me out. And after that, what I did was I divided my strategy into 2 parts. In the first part, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of research on the skill sets which are required, for a person who is there in an IIMB, and my readings really helped me. So before going to IIMB, I had read 2 books, one being one known as the Snapshots from Hell, and the other called The Laws of Strategy. So these are the 2 books about B schools and consultants as a whole. In order to be street smart, what are the logical problems do I need to solve? What parts of newspaper should I focus on? What parts of debate should I indulge into on a IMB or an inter-college level? And the part 2 of the story was that I tried to interact with a lot of such people whom I found really street smart. So, a lot of conversations, heart-to-heart conversations with them, spending time with them really made me understand as to how, from what roots does this thinking spring out. Combination of these 2 things really helped me mold my intellect in a way that, okay, fine, this is very easy. I just need to open up a different way of thinking altogether. And by practice, I could get into, these shoes by 5 or 6 months into IIMB.
That's a beautiful summary of what one can do before an MBA and during an MBA to really level the playing field for themselves. And these are very simple things that you talked about, Janet, reading parts of newspapers, certain kinds of books, participating in the right kind of discussions, which I believe, given the choice, anybody can do. I wanted to come a little on the curriculum. Now, everybody knows that an MBA, especially from an institute like IIM Bangalore, is rigorous. But how rigorous is it really?
If I would tell you, the first year at any B school, if we talk about the top 3 being Bangalore being first, Ahmedabad being second, and Calcutta being third, the first year is always too rigorous for all these 3 B schools. And the second year, it really depends upon the way you want to design your career. IIM Bangalore allows you to choose electives in the third term itself, that is the latter part of the first year. But all the three base schools and even other IIMs and SPJN and NMIMs, all these people allow you to have your electives chosen for the fourth, fifth, and the sixth term. So the second year, if I can talk in that way. So the rigor really depends upon the electives which you choose for the second year. If I come back to the first year is really rigorous because of a plethora of things. If I could bucket these things, there are four buckets in which these things fall. So first thing is academics is very rigorous, pure academics, because every subject which you take, that subject would not have one grading component. It would have at least 4 to 5 grading components, starting from class participation to a midterm exam and an end term exam and a project and mini assignments and etc. So this is the story of one subject. This happens for at least 6 subjects over a course of 10 weeks. 10 weeks, very short time, to read a 1,000-pager textbook for a subject and to replicate that strategy for 6 subjects, and also to do group projects and do research, go on field, talk with companies, etc. and do. So that's why academics as in itself is very rigorous. To add to this, as I told, networking becomes a very important part of a person's B school entering experience. As a consequence, going to various parties or attending various networking events, attending various programs which happen in IIMB, various talks which happen in an IIM is very important in order to know each other, in order to know the culture of IIMB, the teaching pattern of IIMB, etc., etc. So this adds to the pressure of build up. The third thing that is very important is that if you want your experience at any college very fruitful, you should try to be a part of a club or committee which is properly organized for some purpose. So there is always a cultural committee, there is always a business committee, a consulting club, a retailing society, a dance society, etc., etc. So I was a part of one of the biggest committees of IIMB, which organizes an international business festival called Vista, and which also organizes other events like TEDxIIM Bangalore and other stuff. If you take up a position of responsibility at such a committee or club, you are required to attend regular meetings, get sponsorships if you are in a sponsorship vertical. I was in the sponsorship vertical, etc., etc. So this is third. And the fourth, which is the most important, is placements. So your summer placements come up in the month of October generally. So you have to prep up for placements. Making a good resume would take you 100 hours, showing to various seniors, then prepping for interviews. Everything will take up a hell of time from you. So these are the 4 things. Once again, if I could summarize: academics, networking, participating into various clubs and committees, and placements. These 4 things take up a lot of time. So I should cut on my sleep, or I don't sleep, or I stay up on Red Bull or something such, which is not recommended. I never took a sip of Red Bull in the 2 years.
I love how you summarize it, within these 4 buckets, and the reason you explained that it's because of a mixture of all of these things that it becomes rigorous, and it's not just the first bucket, and that is academics. So Absolutely. How many hours on an average did you sleep, Jinit, in the first year?
4 hours. Around 4.5 hours.
So it was lesser than 4 hours during maybe
lesser
times
than
of
4 hours,
placements,
many days. Yeah. During placements, during when our business fest arrived, or during exams, during projects. So there have been a lot of nights when we have been on cups of coffee doing projects all around in the campus, in discussion rooms, etc., etc. So it is rigorous. It is no doubt rigorous. If you want to take the best of the experience out there, if you want to excel everywhere in all the 4 buckets which I just stated.
Jinit, a lot of people ask questions about clubs and committees. So obviously the experience of working with those kind of people and coming together to a common goal, the bonding that happens, those kind of factors are definitely there. But as far as resume, career and placements, these factors are concerned, how important is being part of these committees? How many committees do you need to be a part of? Does it matter which committee you are from? How do these factors play there?
So these are $1,000,000 questions, which ought to be answered only when a person steps in a B school. But okay, fine. I can release a teaser, right away. So all these are very valid questions. So I think that these things are very much an individual specific thing. So many times I've heard this from my seniors, from different people in different colleges, IMA, IMC, that you need to be a part of a particular club, to get shortlists or hotlists, or this may help your career in this way or that way. But if you take up my personal experience, I have had my friends who had not been part of either any club or had been part of a committee which was not so much renowned, and still have managed to get the best of the best in their careers. You should see being part of a club or committee from a personal evolution angle, and not an angle of getting into a company or affecting your resume or something. I just take 30 seconds to explain how. For example, if you try and get into a very good club or committee, this would always be a point of discussion in the interviews which you may face in summers and finals. In an interview, as you all may always be knowing, that if you get a piece of chunk, consuming that type of time of the interview is very important, and it can help save you from answering or getting questions about anything under the sun. So this is why getting into a club or a community is important from a personal developmental angle, as well it helps you serve as a part of a topic of discussion on the table when you interact with the outside world.
Gives you some talking points in the interview where you can
absolutely
represent things you're more confident about. I love that.
Yeah.
Janit, you got an institute third rank. It requires weeks and weeks of persistence. How important is persistence in the IIM campus, and how did you manage to stay motivated throughout, or did you have your own cycles of not being at your best and down? What was that experience like?
So that is really a question which I would love to answer. So there is an IIMB wall of fame where there are on the left hand side the institute rank 1 and 2s who get gold medals for academics. And on the right hand side of the wall, there is a separate column, a respected column for all-rounder gold medalists. So my dad was, like that, what do you think, bro? So this is how he addressed me. What do you think, bro? Can we manage to get a name out there? So I told him, I still remember that survival is a question for me at IIM Bangalore. I can't go and eat food in the mess. You have been eating delicacies all the 2 days, and you have been asking this question to me. I don't have any answer to. So what I am trying to tell you is that getting even an academics rank and all-rounder gold medal rank was something which I did not aim for at all. In my first few weeks at IIM Bangalore, it was extremely tough and impossible, because you are once again among the best minds of the country. And this fact and this thing was reinstated when I participated in class discussions, and I saw people excelling in exams, and I doing so in exams, very tough math exams and all these things, which obviously commerce students have had not a chance to do in the 11th and 12th and all these things. The first term for me was a great roller coaster. I used to really cry sometimes after exams, not able to hold my feelings back, because I never aspired to get the first rank in the class, but I at least aspired to do my best. Still, I tried to manage to get, if I'm not wrong, some 10th rank in the class which I was, a 70 students class, and a 24th rank on an overall institute level after the first term.
Wow.
And this point was the tipping point for me, that even after going through such a tough time, if I could be among the top 50 people of the institute, nothing better than that. And this changed the entire way in which I viewed my abilities and the things at IIMB. And in the third term, after the third term, I stood 7th in the institute, and I was awarded the director's merit list. So director's merit list goes to top 20 students of the institute.
Wow.
So this was the jump which I tried to take. And as you rightly asked, persistence is the key. I have seen my best friends who got 20th rank or 16th rank or 10th rank, better ranks than me in the first term, ending after the 6 terms at roughly 150th rank or 200th rank. This is not because they were not smart or clever. As I told, at B schools, it is all about priorities. After getting placed at a good job, they felt that, okay, fine, it's time to relax. We have slogged hard for 7-8 months at IIMB. I'll now not be very particular and meticulous about everything. And as a consequence, this happens. When you ask about my persistence, I was so persistent in my stuff that I could not let a mark go away from my side in any subject when it comes to academics. I used to slog for every portion which was getting graded, say class participation, because I had to read some 20-pager cases for each subject before a class. I was fighting for the professors for adding 3 marks have led me to, getting an institute rank 3 at that.
You were talking about the 7 regions which are considered for the all-rounder medal which you received.
So I just enlist those 7 buckets. So these 7 buckets go like this. So the first bucket is your academics. So how do you stand in your academic performance? The second bucket is academic achievements. So let aside your academic performance, what have you tried and achieved? Have you done good life projects? Have you attained a director's merit list or a section topper or something of that sorts? Have you earned a good grade in an international course which you did, etc., etc. Third is co-curricular achievements, the corporate case competitions as well as the B School Fest case competitions which you do, and how do you excel, whether you are a national winner or an international winner, the campus winner in this case competitions. So all these type of activities come in co-curricular activities. Then it's all about extracurriculars. Extracurriculars once again bucketed in 2 parts, that is extracurricular literary, which is the 4th bucket, and the extracurricular sports, which is the 5th bucket. And it all talks about that IIMB has its own journal which is published, its own fun magazine which it publishes. It has cases co-written by students and professors together being published at Harvard or Stanford level, being sent to Harvard or Stanford level for publishing under IIMB banner, and all these things. There's IIMB Management Review as a magazine coming out. So how did you contribute to all these things in the literary part of the stuff? I wrote this essay for St. Gallen and all these things. So a lot of things get considered in this bucket. 5th bucket is sports. And how did you contribute to IIM Bangalore's name in sports through various inter-IIM meets which happens? So this is the 5th. The 6th bucket is the leadership positions held. So as I told, I held 2 leadership positions. One being a joint head for sponsorships vertical for this club called Forum for Industrial Interaction, which organizes VISTA, and I was the organizer and curator for TEDx IIM Bangalore. So these were the 2 leadership positions which I held. And the last bucket is contribution to IIM Bangalore. So IIM Bangalore records a lot of video lectures for the government platforms like Swayam or for edX platforms. IIM Bangalore also does a lot of social and volunteership work. So how did you contribute on that front? So you are graded by faculties at 7 different steps and your own batch who has to vote for you.
Really?
On all these 7 frontiers, in order to get an all-rounder gold.
There was a time when you kept the 7 factors in front of you and thought, hey, I have done 3, let me do the other 4. Was there a time where you started aiming for it, or was it always all along that you started to figure out, okay, I'm doing well?
No. So you are right. So, I started aiming for it roughly in September 2018. So once I got placed in for my summer internship, I decided that, I don't know whether I'll get an institute rank 1 or 2, because it depends upon a lot of luck also. So let me try to, at least try for this type of...
this was within 3 or 4 months of your MBA journey that you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
That's beautiful. I just want 2 final questions, Jinit. One is, so if you can answer this specifically for commerce graduates as well as engineering graduates, and maybe some stuff which might be common to these as well as other arts graduates, etc., who come in. What is it that these people can do on hard and soft skills levels in the 3 or 4 months before they start their MBA journey that would give them a head start?
Perfect. So a very nicely put up question. So let's talk into two. Let me structure the answer into two different parts. The first part, as you told, being the hard skills, and the second part being soft skills. If I could start with the hard skills thing, let us bucket into two further parts. So in hard skills, one bucket is say all about the technical skills which people need to take up with, right? And the second part being their knowledge towards the general affairs or things which are happening around. These two things I would like to put up in the hard skill stuff. There will be a question here that why the general affairs or the general knowledge is not in the soft skills part. I'll try and address that also. So if we talk about technical knowledge, let's talk about engineering graduates on one hand. So what I felt during the first 4 or 5 months of my experience at IMB, that engineering graduates really struggled a lot to understand accountancy, finance, and economics as subjects. Economics they could really understand because it contains a lot of math too, which either they have taken as minors in their IITs and NITs or engineering colleges. But finance and accountancy, these are the two subjects which they really found it difficult to score or cope up with or understand to the best. So what I suggest is that engineering graduates may take up some basic courses. So there are a lot of open courses available on platforms like edX, or you can see MIT OpenCourseWare or Coursera, which may give you a head start. People could also take a book. So there is one professor which I eternally respect, called Professor R. Narayan Swamy, who writes a book on financial accountancy which is used by IMB, IML, and a lot of colleges. So it starts from a double entry system, if I and you could talk, which is like building blocks of accounting, to consolidation in one book. It is a lot self-explanatory, and everything is explained through examples, charts. There are exercises which you can do. There are interactive exercises, softwares which are free of cost available along with the book, to access and do stuff. Engineers can get a head start into finance on one hand and accounting on the other hand before coming to IMB. It may help them a lot. For commerce graduates, what I would like to suggest is that they should have skills like basic calculus skills handy, because I think that people in commerce stream are not so coherent with managing calculus like integration or differentiation, or a little bit of higher level statistics like high level probability, conditional probability, Bayes theorem, hypothesis, correlations, regression. So they should try and get a little bit refresher on these type of statistics and math courses. And if time permits, even economics, if you are not an economics major. So if you are a chartered accountant or a commerce major, you should try and take up microeconomics and try to understand some basic concepts like consumer behavior, consumer equilibrium, producer surplus, demand, supply, all these type of things. So if I could summarize, finance and accounting for engineers, and maths, stats, and economics for commerce graduates. If I come to the second part of hard skills which I talked about, people should take up the pink papers, that is the economics going on in India, and should take up should have a look at webcasts which are released by say Raghuram Rajan or economists in that area, to understand really that how Indian economy works. And it is not for just a reading purpose. A person should try and get a hold of how should his opinion for this economic event be. So this is on one part. Soft skills is really simple. Soft skills I would divide into two parts, one being writing and one being speaking, right? So before coming to any B school, people should have a grip at writing only two things, say for example a letter and an email. So there are basic courses which are to do that, and in speaking it all comes by experience. So it starts by you standing in front of a mirror and then you trying out with your friends and parents and relatives about speaking on the stuffs which you are prepared on one hand and impromptu on the other hand.
How good do they need to be on Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint?
I think that could be learned on the go. But if a basic refresher course from something like a Udemy or Unacademy or something may definitely help. So I, being a chartered accountant, may have missed this point because I was a little bit savvy with Excel since beginning. So people need to be a little bit savvy with Microsoft Excel and a little bit more savvy with PowerPoints, because everything would go around presentations. And if you are struggling at that point of time making a presentation, you will just lose out time and would have to sleep lesser than 4 hours. It's just
just one final question to you, Janet. What is something that you wish you knew before you started your MBA journey that you would like to recommend to anybody else who's starting off?
On a boring note, everything which I told just now was something which I learned on the go. So I have opened up my cards, but on an interesting note, if I could just know how a typical day in a B school looks like, I would have wanted nothing more. A simulation. So nowadays, schools like IMB are organizing such type of programs where proceeds are collected, fees are collected from students who want to stay one day at IMB, attend lectures, do all the activities, and they are donated to various NGOs. I would really recommend people to do this if they are around in Bangalore or something. This happens once or twice a year. So if I could just get someone to tell me that this is how life looks at IMB, that would have been the best possible thing which I could have got. So I would try to recommend people really to take cognizance of this fact and try to network. So all the B schools make various WhatsApp groups and everything even before you start, and they try to give you activities. IMB always does this. They give an activity even before we start, which every one of us ignore doing. Right? But you should really not do that, and maybe use LinkedIn to know that how many of your immediate seniors, maybe people who may have done chartered accountancy with you or have been from the same undergraduate college as you, are into IMB or have been at IMB or any other college.
Wow.
So I just wanted to know these type of stuff. Had I known this, then also all-rounder gold medal is the best thing which a person could achieve.
Thank you so much, Janet. What you just said, the certain things, I hope everybody who watched this video until here now knows everything and what they're really, really looking forward to when they go into IMB. Guys, those who are listening, toppers have this negative image of not sharing anything and not opening up their cards. But here is one topper, Janet Dharia, who opened all of his cards, shared all of his secrets. You can succeed in your MBA journey. As Janet moves on into his career in strategy consulting, I, on behalf of the viewers and myself, wish you the best, Janet, and thank you so much for investing time in this video.
Thank you so much, Mudit, for giving me this opportunity. I am more than delighted to share my experience. If we could just change life of one person, I would be extremely delighted. Thank you so much for giving me this platform and opportunity both. And thank you for being a fantastic coach always. You will always still remain my coach.
Thanks, Janet. You're too kind.